Hello, welcome to the Word Cafe podcast. This podcast has been designed with curated content that centers on the power of words. Can we really do anything without speaking? Can we really do anything without the agency of words? Yes, that is what this podcast is all about. And I am your host, Amakri Isoboye, your neighborhood word trader. I believe in the power of words, for it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my world. Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything. Yes, we are back again. I'm super excited. How are you doing? I really want to know how you're doing. Oh yeah, I'm doing fine here. It's been wonderful. The weather has been, changing. We have some rains here and there, and it's good. It's good for our health, and also for the farmers who've started farming now. Amazing. Yes, we're back. You know how we do it when we come into this space. We come in, like we say, to lean on one another and to learn from our experiences. Yes, I have something very exciting, to talk about today. Organizational politics, aka office politics, workplace politics, whatever you want to call it. And I'm privileged to have someone who is knowledgeable in this space, to discuss this with. Her name is Constance Omagbemi. She's a lawyer, a maritime lawyer who has found herself in compliance, a researcher and an author. I know you want to see her. I want to see her. Enough. Let me bring her on now so that you see her. And there she is. Hi, Constance.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very well.
Welcome. So what's it like where you are? I guess you're in Lagos, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yes, I'm in Lagos.
What's it like? What's the weather like in Lagos today?
It's warm. It rained heavily last night, so it's a bit warm.
Okay. All right. So who is Constance Omagbemi? Let's get to meet her.
Okay, I am a maritime regulatory lawyer. I'm an emerging public speaker. I recently also wrote a book. It's called The Diligent Worker, where I share 12 practical principles to achieve excellence at work and in life as well, because our life is beyond work. I see a lot of people, they pay so much attention to work. So I just thought I should provide a balanced view towards approaching this thing. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, you heard her. She's a lawyer. She's into that thing called diligence. And, she's done a book. I saw a couple of things you wrote on your LinkedIn profile. But today we're going to be talking about organizational politics, workplace or office politics. Now, I read your piece on LinkedIn when you were talking about competence over organizational politics, that you went for a training, and in course of the training, the facilitator was talking and organizational politics slipped out of his mouth, and that was the end of the training. It's like everybody said, this is where we're going to dwell today. So do you think organizational politics is an issue? Do you think it's an issue we should be concerned about?
Well, a lot of people seem to be very interested in it. And I actually wonder why. Okay, maybe at a time, probably I was interested as well. And I was a player, let me put it that way. But I no longer play in that field anymore. I play in the field of excellence. Because organizational politics is where you have both the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the majority of the players there, they are those that they are not very grounded in the work itself, in the business of the person. So they employ other means to remain relevant.
Okay, but before we even go into the nitty-gritty of the discussion, what is organizational politics? What is it all about?
Okay, from what? Okay, so you see, my father was a political scientist, and
Okay.
I actually engaged him a lot on political issues. I mean, beyond politics, as
Yeah.
in politics in the workplace and just politics generally. So when you talk about organizational politics, you're referring to is a personal thing. So although it's
Okay.
called organizational, but the goal it's to how to gain influence in an organization to achieve your goal. Some
Okay.
experts that have written in this area, they always try to bring in using influence to achieve your personal goals and the goals of the organization. But from
Okay.
my 15 years experience, I mean, in the past 15 years I've been working, what I've seen practically is that most of those players or most of those involved in organizational politics, their agenda is always ahead of the organization's agenda. That's what I
So
think.
is it is it wrong? Is it wrong?
Yes, it's wrong, really, because
How? How is it?
it's wrong in every sense of the word. I know people, they try to justify it, or you can't do away without it. Wherever you have human beings, you have politics and all that. So let me give you an example. In the academic work, for example, in the academic world, rather, I mean, the yardstick for achieving success, they are clear. You don't play politics with that. I mean, if you want to get a fourth class in school, you want to get a 2-1, I mean, the yardsticks, they are clear. Do you get it? So in most corporate organizations, the core values, they are always clear as well. And I mean, so if you want to be regarded as excellent, as an excellent performer in the organization most times, which is what gets you to advance, you follow the rules and deliver the result. But most times you find out that it's not necessarily those that so you have the issues of like favoritism.
Okay.
Do you get it? So that's one of the big syndrome of organizational politics. I mean, the bosses might just favor somebody for no clear reasons. Do you get?
Well, now when you say favoritism, a boss favors an employee for no reason. I mean, it's very difficult.
I said no clear reasons.
No clear reason. It's very difficult to comprehend and appreciate, because man, as you and I, the definition you gave a while ago, we're political, or rather we're social beings. And each time we gather, there is this tendency for us to form tribes and, should I say, gravitate to what we consider our tribe. And in course of doing that, you just find us involuntarily, if I must use that word, favoring that person supposedly who speaks your language or is from your tribe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're very correct.
So who's to blame? Who's to blame in this?
So it's a lack of focus. If you, I wrote about this when I commented on this recently. I mean, every organization, you exist for a purpose. You have a mission. So by the time you begin to attribute more priority to other things than those things that actually count towards achieving the goals of the organization, then I mean, there's clearly lack of focus on the part of leadership.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history. We also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
So how do we correct this notion? Because a lot of organizations globally, but particularly in Nigeria, are suffering, should I say, from this, would I use the word syndrome, where it breeds a toxic environment. You see people come to the office, like you said, they lose focus. They put their selfish interest over and above that of the organization. And before you know it, you just have all sorts playing out. How do we address it?
Okay, so let me give you a practical example. Okay.
All right.
I'm a person of excellence. So most of the bosses I have worked with, they find me easy to work with. Because the one thing they always say is that, you can give Constance a job and go and sleep and consider it done. You don't need to you don't need to be worried that, at the deadline I will come up with an excuse. I don't give excuses. Whatever it takes to get the job done, I do it. So because of that, a lot of my bosses, they are drawn to me. And they give me, will I say, some special privileges in terms of assignments. They assign a lot of things to me, even when people, they don't have what to do. Others are redundant. I seem to be, And, so a lot of, some of my colleagues, they accused these bosses of being partial. But, looking back now, I now realize that the bosses, the leaders, they actually owed a duty to actually explain why they were seemingly, will I say, yielding towards me, or will I say, why I became their favorite. So if they had explained, but they didn't do that. Do you get it? So that's why I see, as for leadership, if you are showing favoritism, so to say, I don't see it as favoritism really, because responsibilities always comes with opportunities. Responsibilities always come with opportunities. So when I get to handle a lot of responsibilities, automatically there are some opportunities that just they come with that. So you see, when I get people don't tend to see the responsibility side of it. They just see, all these opportunities, they are coming to you, but it's actually coming from the work. So and a lot of my bosses, most of them, they actually fail to communicate why it was that I was getting those responsibilities and opportunities. So if they were more transparent with the way things were done, then I'm sure then people will want to aspire to maybe deliver at my level as well, so they can be exposed to those things.
If I hear you correctly, you're talking about competence here, because they give me certain responsibilities based on my competence and capacity, to deliver on the job. But the truth is, in so many organizations, when you talk about organizational politics, it's not talking about competence here.
Okay, that's an aspect. Okay, so see, that's an aspect, with what was going on, what I explained to you. So some people termed me that I was playing office politics. That's as in getting those responsibilities and opportunities. So that's an aspect. So other people, they employ their own means to want to try to get, the same responsibilities and opportunities. Will I say the influence, so to say, the influence. Do you get it? And okay, so you see, so for a leader, for most of the leaders I worked with, they were those that were after excellence, achieving goals. So if you find a leader, do you get it? So that is good, but even at that stage, they still accuse them of being political, like, why is it that I was getting these responsibilities and opportunities? Do you get it? So for others that try to manipulate their way to actually wield influence, unfortunately, these leaders I'm telling you about, they were actually very goal-oriented. So I was always working with them. But what's it called? A new leader came at the time, and he wasn't so goal-oriented. So my competence didn't matter so much. So other people that could manipulate, their heart, so to say, into the lives of these leaders that were not so goal-oriented, then those people, they began to wield influence. Do you get it? So they got these opportunities and responsibilities, but then when it came to delivering, I can't say so much about that.
So practically, we see that leaders who base their, should I say, achievement or wanting to achieve success on sentiments, they go the way of, let's say, culture, or this person speaks my language, or this person is from my tribe or my club. So based on that, I'm going to assign XYZ to that person, not minding that this person does not even have the capacity to deliver on the job. And
so that's why I
this,
said it's
yeah, go
leaders
on.
that are not focused. Leaders that are not focused.
All
They are
right.
not focused. Those are the ones
how
that pay attention to other things other than like getting the job done. So where you
All right.
find a leader that is not very focused, they don't give consideration to what's it called, competence.
How do we address this in an organization?
So me, I feel the root cause of organizational politics and all that, it rests with the leadership. The leaders, they set the pace, whether you like it or not. They set the
Okay.
pace. So if they set the tone, they set the tone.
Okay.
So where you have authentic leadership, leaders that are transparent and are authentic, they are genuine. Do you get it? There will be less people will want to sit up and do what is expected of them. But where you have leaders that are not authentic, like you can't see where they're coming from, you don't know what their values really are. Do you get it? Then such an environment, office politics will be very common.
Now, you kept using the word leaders or the leadership in the organization, not necessarily managers now, but the leaders.
Well, so the managerial team, they are part of the leaders.
Yeah, but how do we, because I know I am repeating this question, because when you say the leaders have the responsibility to drive that tone,
yes,
the truth is, how do you build those leaders to get to that point, to understand that, see, you are occupying this position because we want you to drive excellence? How do we get, because a lot of organizations within our climb, we have this major challenge to have leaders to think beyond themselves, think about the organization as a whole. So are we looking at giving them some form of training, exposing them, letting them see that, your actions really go a long way in setting and creating the atmosphere for excellence, or not?
Okay, so well, this is a very hard question to answer. You know why I say so?
Why?
I know a lot of organizations, they invest in training, leadership training for their top managers and all that. Do you get it? So maybe the question might be what kind of training, and then again, like what are the values of the organizations? I mean, what are their values? So they're okay. Sorry, let me give an example. There's the man, Mr. Tony Edumelu. I don't know if you know him. He's a man
very Tony.
Tony. I admire him a lot because he's quite transparent. The way he runs his affairs is quite transparent. So that's kind of environment where I mean, I'm not saying there might be office politics, organizational politics within. I don't know, but it will be minimized in such an environment where you have leaders that are transparent and like, I mean, I've heard him speak a couple of times where like he's given responsibilities to people based on their ability to deliver on the job. Do you get it? So where the leaders, where especially let's say the chief executive, where you make the criteria for what's it called, given top responsibilities, where you make it merit driven, then I believe it sets the tone within the organization.
Amazing, beautiful. Well, you're correct, because I followed him. I keep following him also, like Mr. Tony Edumelu. I follow him closely, and the way he runs his affairs around, I mean, UBA and the rest of them, a level of transparency. And you see the constitution of the board, people who make the board, as in work with him closely, the chief executives and all that. You come to see a level of diversity. You see not necessarily from one particular tribe or one particular gender. You see that mix. But in the mix, there's something that is very clear: competence. You know,
Yes.
one of his chief executives, her name is, I think, Patricia Aderigbe. I'm not sure if I pronounced her name correctly. I think she's in charge of HR. Now, on LinkedIn, when you follow her, when you hear her speak and write, you come to see this level of competence on display, as in, you know, that this lady, like we'll say it in the local palace, she tight, as in she tight, you know, for this job where she did do. So, I mean, you're very correct. So, tell me, what are you up to now? Because you're a researcher and a writer, you just authored the book. What are you up to? What's happening with Constance?
Okay, so before I tell you what I'm up to in rounding off this talk on organizational politics, you know,
Yeah.
I would like to state that so for organizations where they are not very focused on the goals, where they pay a lot of attention to extraneous considerations other than merits in taking decision.
Yeah.
Do you get it? They won't achieve their goals. They can't achieve their goals.
There will be in-house fighting.
Yes, and I mean, what happens is that the goals, like the vision of the organization, suffers. So they could just be existing. So if you compare such an organization with an organization where things are properly done and they pay less attention to this organizational politics, but they are more focused, we see the clear disparity in terms of accomplishment. I mean, there's always that disparity.
You just said something now. They will just be existing. There won't be growth per se, you know. But when you exalt excellence above that organizational politics, as it were, you see growth. It is apparent. It's obvious. Wonderful. What I consider epic organizational politics. Is it real? Is it true? Are we all in it? Or some of us are in it? First of all, let us look at the word organization. You know, when you look at the word organization, what is an organization? Simply put, from my own perspective, the coming together of functions in realizing a purpose. These functions could be homogeneous or heterogeneous, but they all come together in achieving a purpose. Now, these functions don't come together in themselves. They come together as a result of human factor, people moving these factors. Then politics, simply put, the coming together of people to deciding a particular event. So you could say it falls on leadership. So when people come together, even in the wider society, you see us move towards one another in a certain manner. You know, it could be based on biases, prejudices, as the case may be, and you see us move along these lines. So the organization, be it formal or informal, exists within the bigger superstructure, which is the society. So it is commonsensically to say that what holds sway in the society somehow filters into any organization and it plays out. So you see us gravitate towards one topic or the other based on prejudices and biases. So, is it a good thing, organizational politics? Well, from my opinion, yes, it's a good thing, and also it's a bad thing, depending on how you view it. When people come together, it's only natural for us to have likes and dislikes. But to be objective, somehow you have to swallow your pride, look away from your dislikes, try to see from the other person's perspective, appreciate the shoes the person is wearing, he or she is wearing. Then you will come to see that, whatever decisions I have to make, I am seeing it from my brother or my sister's perspective. So we flow along those lines. Can we run away from it? Never. We cannot run away from it because we are social human beings. We are social creatures. We gravitate towards one another based on likes and dislikes, biases and prejudices. But now, for us to live harmoniously, even in an organizational setting, we need to look beyond our biases, look beyond our prejudices, and embrace what makes us unique. And what is that? Our humanity. So when you go out there today, tomorrow, any other time, it's real. Organizational politics is real. But let us look at it objectively. So what are you up to?
Okay, so like I said when I introduced myself, I'm trying to go into the public speaking space.
Okay.
I believe I have I have a lot to offer in shaping certain narratives, especially in terms of governance. So I intend to be more vocal about some of those things, some of those issues that are actually devouring us in Africa. I intend to be more vocal. I have my limitations. I have my limitations as a public servant, but as much as I can, I intend to be more vocal. So I actually have a lot of, like this year, I haven't been very active on LinkedIn because I'm just trying to get done with this book. So once I'm done with this book, I intend to be more vocal.
So when will the book be ready?
The plan is for it to be ready by the 1st of May, which is Workers' Day.
Oh, wow, to celebrate the Workers' Day. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's the title of the book?
It's called The Diligent Worker.
The Diligent Worker. Beautiful, beautiful. We wish you well. We wish you well. I know what it takes to write. You know, I mean, I'm an author myself. I've written a couple of books and, you know, so I know what it takes to write. So, we're rooting for you. We're waiting for that book. So where can we, when you're done, where can we get the book? Where?
I'm going to paste it there. I'll put those information.
All right then. Okay, before I let you go, can you tell the audience where we can catch Constance? Just in case we want to get in touch with her, we want to get more from her, where can we catch you?
Okay, currently I'm not yet on Twitter. I'm trying to brace up. I'm trying to brace up.
Somebody said Twitter is vicious. For you to go into Twitter, you have to be very strong.
No. I'm trying to brace up to be there, but I will be there. But for now, I'm on LinkedIn and on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
So on Instagram is at Constance Omagbemi. Then LinkedIn will be Constance Omagbemi. You can type it.
Wonderful. Guys, we've been discussing with Constance Omagbemi on organizational politics, aka office politics. I mean, she said so much, and you will agree with me, when we play organizational politics over and above excellence, we come to see that the organization dies eventually. But when we exalt excellence above organizational politics, you come to see growth, and people who are, have the right, should I say, capacity and competence are placed correctly, and they move the organization forward. Amazing. Oh, I am so glad you took this time to do this with us. Hope you will respond to us when we call on you again.
It will be my pleasure.
Okay. Any last word from you? Before we sign off?
Yeah. I didn't say this earlier. So what I would like to say is that politics is about power. It's about power. Power. So if you're so interested in being influential and powerful, just go and join a political party. You don't need to work in a corporate organization. Go and become a full-time politician. That's my last word.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Till we come your way again. My name is Amakri. Amakri is Soboye. Bye for now.
Bye.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Before we sign off, I just want to encourage you. Yeah, it's been a wonderful time. And also, I'd like to hear from you your feedback. You know, you've been listening to the Word Cafe podcast. I would love to hear from you the feedback. If you have any questions, you go ahead and ask those questions. You can reach me at my email address, amacrigaribaldi@gmail.com. Amacri is AMACHREEGaribaldi@gmail.com. Yeah, and we'll get back. You know how we do it on the show. Thank you.
Hearts and time, it has been with you on the Word Cafe podcast today. Thank you for being there. You can catch me up on my social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all at Amakri Isogoye. Also, you can get copies of my books, A Cocktail of Words, The Color of Words, and my HRO notebook on Amazon and on Robin Heights online bookstores. You can also subscribe to my YouTube page at the same address. Yes, till we see you again. Bye for now.